Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Young and the Restless channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit like for more daily drama updates and spoilers. Your support truly means a lot and helps our channel grow every day. Now let's jump straight into today's exciting update. The storm clouds gathering over Genoa City are about to unleash another wave of heartbreak, betrayal, and emotional reckoning, and as Tuesday, May 26th approaches, the lives of some of the city's most complicated souls are about to collide in ways no one can fully prepare for. After a brief pause for Memorial Day, with Monday's episode airing as a repeat, the drama returns stronger than ever, carrying with it secrets that could permanently alter relationships, destroy fragile trust, and reopen old wounds that never truly healed. The atmosphere surrounding the Newman and Abbott families feels heavier now, almost suffocating as tensions rise beneath polished smiles and carefully guarded conversations. Every character seems to be standing on the edge of a personal cliff, desperately trying to maintain control while the ground beneath them slowly begins to crumble. And at the center of it all are revelations so emotional and devastating that they threaten to change the future of Genoa City forever. As the episode unfolds, viewers will be pulled into a deeply emotional chain of events where love, obsession, ambition, and grief intertwine in ways only the young and the restless can deliver. One of the most emotionally charged moments arrives when Billy Abbott delivers shocking news to Adam Newman, news that stops Adam in his tracks and forces him to confront emotions he thought he had buried long ago. In a conversation loaded with tension and uneasy restraint, Billy reveals that Sally Spectra is pregnant with his child and that the two of them are preparing to get married. The revelation lands like a thunderbolt, leaving Adam momentarily frozen as memories come rushing back with painful clarity. For Adam, this isn't simply about Sally moving on with another man. It's about the life they once dreamed of together, the future they almost had, and the unbearable tragedy that shattered them when they lost their baby girl. That grief never truly disappeared, no matter how much time passed or how many walls Adam built around himself to survive it. Hearing that Sally is about to become a mother again awakens something deeply emotional inside him, forcing him to revisit the pain, the hope, and the love they once shared. As Adam processes the news, a complicated storm of emotions begins brewing beneath the surface. Part of him clearly believes Sally deserves better than Billy. Someone steadier, someone capable of protecting her heart instead of complicating her life further. Yet another part of Adam cannot ignore the genuine happiness he feels knowing Sally is being given another chance at motherhood after enduring such devastating loss. He knows better than anyone how much this pregnancy means to her, how fragile and precious this moment truly is. The memory of their daughter still lingers between them like a shadow neither of them can escape, and because of that, Adam understands exactly what is at stake. The emotional weight of their shared tragedy hangs over every thought he has, making it impossible for him to react with simple jealousy or bitterness. Instead, Adam's concern becomes painfully sincere, and he may ultimately warn Billy to step up in ways he never has before, not just as a fiancé, but as a future husband and father. In Adam's eyes, Sally deserves stability, protection, and unconditional support now more than ever. And whether Billy can truly provide that remains a question that lingers heavily in the air. Meanwhile, another dangerous emotional spiral is unfolding elsewhere in Genoa City as Patty Williams sends out a desperate distress signal that immediately raises alarm bells. Patty's obsession with Jack Abbott has always lived dangerously close to the edge of chaos, and now it seems her fixation is once again threatening to pull others into her unstable world. Her sudden SOS appears connected to Matt Clark, the man who made the catastrophic mistake of abandoning her, and Patty's fury over that betrayal has clearly not faded. But revenge alone may not satisfy her anymore. Beneath Patty's frantic behavior lies something far more unsettling. The possibility that she is preparing to negotiate, manipulate, or even bargain her way back into Jack's life. The emotional instability surrounding Patty creates an atmosphere of unpredictability where no one can fully trust what she might do next. Every interaction involving her carries the uncomfortable feeling that disaster could erupt at any moment. As Victor Newman becomes involved in Patty's latest scheme, the stakes begin climbing even higher. Patty may have tracked Matt down, perhaps even secretly planted a tracker on him to ensure he could never truly escape her reach, and now she could be using that information as leverage. But Patty rarely does anything without wanting something in return. There's a growing sense that she may push Victor into helping secure the future she still fantasizes about having with Jack Abbott. Her obsession has never fully loosened its grip, and despite everything that has happened, Patty continues clinging to the idea that she and Jack belong together. The possibility that she could even reveal Jack approached her about teaming up against Victor adds another explosive layer to the situation. If Patty chooses to expose confidential conversations or manipulate both men against each other, the fallout could become catastrophic. Yet Victor is not a man easily cornered, and any deal between him and Patty is certain to come with dangerous consequences attached. Their uneasy alliance feels less like cooperation and more like two ticking time bombs standing dangerously close together. At the same time, Victor is tightening his grip elsewhere, and this time his target is Phyllis Summers. The battle over Newman Enterprises, now renamed Summers Conglomerate under Phyllis's leadership, is becoming increasingly brutal, and Victor appears determined to crush her resistance completely. Phyllis has fought relentlessly to maintain control, pouring every ounce of herself into protecting the company and proving she deserves her place at the top. For her, this isn't just business. It's pride, identity, survival, and redemption all wrapped into one desperate struggle. But Victor is a master strategist, and once he senses weakness, he moves without mercy. With every calculated maneuver, he continues backing Phyllis into a tighter and tighter corner, stripping away her options and forcing her to confront the terrifying possibility that she may lose everything she worked so hard to build. The pressure surrounding her becomes almost unbearable, creating an emotional suffocation that threatens to break even someone as resilient and fierce as Phyllis. Still, Phyllis refuses to surrender quietly. Even as Victor gains a powerful advantage, she continues fighting with everything she has left, determined not to let him erase her accomplishments or humiliate her publicly. Yet another devastating setback looms on the horizon, one that could leave her emotionally shattered just as the walls begin closing in around her. The intensity of their power struggle creates a tense, high-stakes atmosphere that ripples throughout Genoa City, affecting everyone caught in the orbit of the Newman Empire. But even amid corporate warfare and personal vendettas, an even darker crisis is quietly approaching, one far more frightening than any business loss or rivalry. As the episode moves toward its most heartbreaking development, attention turns to Nick Newman, whose worsening drug issues are finally reaching a terrifying breaking point. The warning signs have been mounting for some time, but now the consequences can no longer be ignored. Nick suddenly collapses, sending shockwaves through those around him and forcing everyone to confront the seriousness of his condition. In that devastating moment, the chaos of corporate battles and personal feuds suddenly fades into the background as survival becomes the only thing that matters. Fear spreads rapidly through the Newman family as loved ones realize the man they care about is spiraling dangerously out of control. The emotional impact of Nick's collapse promises to send ripples through every relationship connected to him, exposing pain, regret, and helplessness that many have tried desperately to avoid facing. As Genoa City braces for the fallout, the coming days promise emotional confrontations, heartbreaking realizations, and life-changing decisions that could permanently alter the future of these families. Adam is left wrestling with unresolved love and grief. Sally stands on the edge of a fragile new beginning filled with both hope and uncertainty. Patty's dangerous obsession threatens to ignite fresh chaos around Jack and Victor. Phyllis finds herself fighting for survival against one of the most powerful men in the city. And Nick's devastating collapse serves as a chilling reminder that sometimes the greatest battles are the ones fought quietly behind closed doors. Every storyline now feels emotionally explosive, layered with tension and vulnerability that keeps viewers hanging on to every moment. And as Tuesday's episode unfolds, The Young and the Restless promises a powerful emotional storm that no one in Genoa City will escape unchanged. The emotional fallout from Nick Newman's collapse spreads across Genoa City like a shockwave, leaving fear and uncertainty hanging heavily over everyone connected to him. In the sterile silence of the hospital corridors, the powerful Newman family suddenly looks painfully fragile, stripped of the confidence and control they usually carry so effortlessly. The sound of hurried footsteps, hushed conversations, and anxious phone calls creates an atmosphere thick with dread as loved ones gather, desperate for answers that no one can immediately provide. side. Nick's worsening dependency had already begun casting shadows over his life, but seeing him physically collapse forces the reality into the open in the most devastating way possible. For those closest to him, the moment feels terrifyingly final, as though they are watching someone they love slowly slip away while being powerless to stop it. The fear in the room is not only about Nick's physical condition, but about how far he has fallen emotionally and mentally without anyone truly realizing the depth of his struggle until now. In that moment, years of family tension, resentment, and rivalry suddenly seem insignificant compared to the horrifying possibility of losing him altogether. Victor Newman, a man who built his empire on strength and control, finds himself facing something he cannot dominate through intimidation or strategy. Beneath his hardened exterior, there is unmistakable panic as he watches one of his children spiral into crisis. Victor has spent his entire life protecting the Newman legacy, but this situation cuts deeper than business wars or power struggles ever could. Nick's collapse becomes a brutal reminder that even the mighty Newman family is vulnerable to pain that money and influence cannot erase. Though Victor often hides his emotions behind calculated composure, the strain begins showing in subtle cracks. The tightening of his jaw, the silence between his words, the cold frustration that masks genuine fear. He immediately shifts priorities, determined to ensure Nick receives help before it is too late. Yet beneath that determination lingers another painful truth Victor may not want to admit. Somewhere along the way, while fighting countless battles outside the family, he may have missed the warning signs inside his own home. As news of Nick's condition spreads, Phyllis Summers is hit with another emotional blow at the worst possible time. Already exhausted from her escalating war with Victor over Summers' conglomerate, she suddenly finds herself torn between business survival and deep personal fear for the father of her children. The ruthless corporate chess match that once consumed her attention now feels hollow compared to the sight of Nick lying vulnerable and broken. Yet the cruel reality is that Victor's pressure campaign does not stop simply because tragedy strikes. If anything, Victor's advantage continues growing while Phyllis struggles to hold herself together emotionally. She tries to maintain her fierce determination, refusing to show weakness in front of anyone, but inside, panic begins clawing at her composure. Watching Nick suffer awakens years of complicated emotions between them: love, heartbreak, resentment, loyalty, all tangled together in ways neither of them ever fully escaped. And for Phyllis, the terrifying realization settles in that she could lose both her company and someone she still deeply cares about almost simultaneously. Meanwhile, Adam Newman finds himself increasingly haunted by the revelation about Sally Spector's pregnancy. Though he initially tried to respond with maturity and restraint, the emotional impact of the news continues growing stronger the more he sits with it. Memories of Sally flood his mind relentlessly. The moments they shared, the dreams they once built together, and the unbearable grief that followed the loss of their daughter. That tragedy changed both of them forever, carving emotional scars so deep that neither truly recovered. Now, knowing Sally is carrying another child forces Adam to confront feelings he thought he had buried beneath layers of anger and regret. There is joy for her, certainly, because he understands how desperately she wanted another chance after suffering such devastating heartbreak. But intertwined with that happiness is profound sadness for the life they lost and the future that slipped through his fingers. The emotional complexity becomes almost unbearable, leaving Adam caught between letting go and silently wishing things had turned out differently. At the same time, Billy Abbott steps further into the future he is trying to build with Sally, though uncertainty continues lingering around him like a shadow. Becoming a husband and father should represent a hopeful new chapter, yet the weight of responsibility is beginning to settle heavily on his shoulders. Adam's warning about treating Sally right echoes louder than Billy may initially admit, because deep down he knows the stakes could not be higher. Sally is not simply entering another romance, she is trusting someone again after unimaginable loss. Billy understands that trust is fragile, especially for a woman whose heart has already been shattered by grief. The pressure to prove himself worthy of her love and worthy of becoming a father creates a quiet, emotional tension beneath his confidence. For perhaps the first time in a long while, Billy cannot afford recklessness or selfish mistakes. Sally's future, her emotional stability, and the life growing inside her now depend on him in ways that force him to confront the man he truly wants to become. And while some relationships struggle to survive emotional storms, Patty Williams continues drifting deeper into dangerous obsession. Her fixation on Jack Abbott grows increasingly unsettling as her desperation intensifies, creating an atmosphere of unpredictability around every move she makes. Patty's emotional instability has always carried the potential for destruction, but now there is a chilling sense that she is becoming more manipulative and calculated than ever before. Her connection to Matt Clark and her communications with Victor Newman suggest she may be orchestrating something far more complicated behind the scenes. Whether she is seeking revenge, leverage, or another path back into Jack's life, her actions are becoming increasingly difficult to predict. The possibility that she could expose Jack's private conversations or use sensitive information to manipulate Victor raises the stakes dramatically. And as Patty clings to the fantasy of securing a future with Jack, the line between desperation and danger becomes thinner with every passing moment. Jack Abbott, meanwhile, may soon discover that trying to manage Patty's obsession comes with consequences far more explosive than he anticipated. His decision to approach Patty about working against Victor may have seemed strategic at the time, but involving someone as emotionally unstable as Patty was always bound to create dangerous complications. Now, with Victor potentially learning more about Jack's actions, another war could be brewing beneath the surface of Genoa City's elite circles. The tension surrounding Jack grows heavier as he risks becoming trapped between Victor's retaliation and Patty's uncontrollable emotional needs. What may have started as a calculated move against an old rival could quickly spiral into chaos neither man can fully contain. And because Patty's emotions are tied so deeply to her obsession with Jack, every interaction becomes emotionally charged with the possibility of disaster. As all these storylines continue colliding, Genoa City begins to feel like a city holding its breath before impact. Every character is battling something deeply personal. Grief, addiction, obsession, fear, regret, or the desperate need for redemption. Sally faces the fragile hope of motherhood after tragedy. Adam wrestles with lingering heartbreak he cannot fully silence. Billy struggles under the weight of responsibility and expectation. Phyllis fights to protect both her company and the people she loves. Victor balances ruthless ambition with growing fear for his son. And Nick stands at the center of it all, his life hanging in a precarious balance as those around him realize just how much pain he has been carrying alone. The emotional intensity surrounding each storyline continues building with breathtaking force, creating a powerful atmosphere where every decision feels capable of changing lives forever. And as the drama deepens, one thing becomes painfully clear. In Genoa City, no secret stays buried forever, and no heart escapes the consequences untouched.